Well, some of the most outspoken voices on the right are also giving us a better sense of the split in real time. Here's some comments.
The deal for Republicans on this vote is that Trump will protect you if you vote the wrong way. In other words, if you vote to cover up for pedophiles, you've got cover in a Republican primary.
Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. You can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Yeah.
Joining me now in the group chat, Noel King, co-host and editorial director of the Today Explained podcast, Bradley Devlin, politics editor at the Daily Signal, and Ashley Etienne, former communications director for Vice President Kamala Harris. Good to have all of you with us. I just want to start with those Megyn Kelly comments. She did add, all of this is disgusting. I have to be honest, I'm not sure what adding that changes. The thought of it and the thought of this person who she's discussing somehow seeming to make the case that it's okay if a girl is 15 versus 8. Bradley, why even raise that point?
I don't know, but there is a comedian who has this exact bit where he goes through the different medical distinctions that the experts have determined and says, but if you mention any of this, you sound like a creep and you sound like a weirdo and you probably shouldn't be talking about it. I understand what Megyn was trying to do there. I just don't think that...
Wait, I'm going to stop you there because I don't.
What was
no, I'm going to stop you. But what was she, in all seriousness, right? This is not a comedy sketch. This is not... What was she trying to do? What is the point that you believe she was trying to make in that moment?
I think she was trying to say that these types of interactions, like the network that Jeffrey Epstein had created, was not the type of child sex trafficking that we talk about when we talk about young children overseas, et cetera, et cetera. Now, again, distinction without difference, as she pointed out.
Noel, when you look at that this is now a line of discussion, what does that tell you about where we have landed?
Well, I have a 15-year-old niece, and what I would say is I don't think Megyn Kelly needs to articulate every single thing that crosses her mind. It was an appalling thing to say. I think what's really interesting about the revelations this week is that they didn't really tell us anything that new, Erica. It was a lot of what we knew. Trump and Epstein were friends for a long time. They had a split. After that, they were not friends, and they didn't talk. What's really interesting is, again, even though people are seeing there doesn't appear to be much new here, the pressure still is, okay, but we want all of it because we want to make absolutely sure that things are not being hidden from the American public. I guess the long and short of it is this is just not going away.
It's not going away. I mean, it's also, but let's be transparent here. This is an issue that the president himself created by initially promising to release these documents. And it's an excellent point. The president has not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing. These emails don't really change a whole lot in that respect when we're talking about the president. What I think is really interesting, though, is that we are starting to hear more about Republicans and where they will land. I just want to listen a little bit more to some of what we heard from Thomas Massie.
If this comes on the floor, I will vote for it. I want transparency.
This is Epstein votes coming to the floor. Are you going to vote for it, this bill?
Yeah, told you I would. Yeah.
I'm going to vote for it if it comes up because...
You'll vote for the bill?
Yeah.
We do need to know. We do need to know everything about Epstein.
We need to know. That's on the heels of Massie predicting there would be a snowball effect. Ashley, on the broader point here, right, this makes it to the floor. Let's say more Republicans vote for it. We move forward. What happens then? What do Democrats do with this?
Well, I mean, here's the issue is if there's nothing there, then why all the shenanigans? Why is Donald Trump, President Trump, asserting a pressure campaign on Republicans to switch their vote or to vote against the bill when it comes to the floor? Why delay it for 6 weeks if there is nothing there? They should just rip the Band-Aid off and release the documents. But we don't know. We don't know. And so that's really the challenge. What are they hiding? That's the question that Democrats have to keep pushing. But, I would caution question sort of everyone's exuberance about this particular issue, because it's got to go through the process. It's got to go to the floor, be voted out of the House, then to the Senate, and then to the president's desk. Donald Trump is never going to give himself up. So I can't imagine that he actually signs this. But my advice to the Democratic Party is, in the House Democrats, is that this needs to not be an isolated event. We need to message this as part of Donald Trump's culture of corruption. The fact that he's covering all of this up really is how we should message it. It should ladder up to corruption, and that's what we're seeing in full plain sight.
All right, we'll watch this space. We'll see how it all plays out in the coming days in Washington. I also want to get your take, so stay with me for this next one. As we look at the Trump administration's push for its immigration crackdown, we now know the next focus. It is Charlotte, North Carolina. Border Patrol agents reportedly surging there as soon as this weekend. The local sheriff telling CNN federal officials hadn't actually shared those details of their plans. In fact, a number of officials who were contacted by CNN said CNN contacting them was the first that they had heard about the plan. But based on what we have seen in other cities, it does give an idea of what perhaps may be to come.
Get back, I'm shooting.